So, Teen Wolf, Act 2. Beacon Hills High School corridor. Day. A school bell rings in a crowded hallway, and at their locker, Scott takes off his backpack and pulls up his shirt a few inches to show Styles the bandage on his lower back. Scott, it was too dark to see much, but I'm pretty sure it was a wolf. Styles, a wolf bit you? No, not a chance. Scott, I heard howling. Styles, no, you didn't. Scott, how do you know? No, I didn't. How would you know what I heard? Styles, California doesn't have wolves. Not for the last 60 years. Scott, really? Styles, yes, really. There are no wolves in California. Scott, well, if you don't believe me about the wolf, then you're definitely not going to believe me when I tell you I saw the body. Styles, you what? Are you kidding me? Scott, I wish. I'm going to have nightmares for about a month. Styles, that's so freaking awesome. This is seriously the best thing that's happened in this town since, looking past Scott, since the birth of Lydia Sears, who's walking towards us right now. A drop-dead gorgeous junior named Lydia Sears walks the corridor like it's a fashion show runway in Malin. Styles continues, "Hey Lydia, how are you? You look." She walks right by, like you're going to ignore me. At Scott's lab, "You're the cause of this, dragging me down to your nerd depths. I'm a nerd by association. I've been scarlet nerded by you." Blending into the crowd, they head into first period English. Scott takes the desk next to Styles as the teacher, Mr. Curtis, walks in. Mr. Curtis, as you all know by now, there was indeed a body found in the woods last night. I'm sure your eager little minds are coming up with all sorts of macabre scenarios as to how it happened, but I've been told that the police have a suspect in custody. Scott looks to Styles, who shrugs, news to him as well. Mr. Curtis, a vagrant with a long history of psychiatric disorders was discovered camping out in the woods near where the body was found, which means your undivided attention can be given to the syllabus outlining the semester on your desk. Read it, and by read it I don't mean skim. The sound of paper pages flapping through rambling towards Scott as students start reading. It's strangely loud, causing his ears to twitch, especially when a cell phone rings. He glances up. The other students quietly read the syllabus. Scott appears to be the only one noticing the ringing. Gazing about, he can't seem to find the source until his eyes fall onto the windows of the classroom. Outside, across the quad, Scott sees Allison Argent, 16-year-old and radiating with an innocent beauty. When she puts a cell phone to her ear, it becomes obvious that despite the closed windows and the distance, this ringing Scott is hearing is somehow able to hear. More astonishing, Scott can hear both Allison and her caller, their voices echoing into a teeming effect. Allison, Mom, 3 calls on my first day is a little overdoing it. Miss Argent, voiceover. Just making sure you're okay, that you're there okay, and you've got everything you need. But Allison digs through her bag, becoming alarmed. Everything except a pen. Oh my God. I didn't actually forget a pen. Miss Argent, voiceover. Don't panic. I'm sure you can borrow one from another student. Allison, okay, I gotta go. Love ya. Unable to take his eyes off the extraordinary girl, Scott watches the school principal join her on the steps. Principal, sorry to keep you waiting. The principal guides her across the quad, their conversation becoming clearer to Scott with every step. Principal, so you're saying San Francisco isn't where you grew up? Allison, no, but we stayed for more than a year, which is an unusual in my family. We kind of bounce around a lot because of my dad's work. Even when Allison and the principal disappear from view, Scott can still hear the clatter of the building doors opening, the clicking of their heels on the tile floor of the hall. Principal, off screen. Well, hopefully Beacon Hills is your last stop for a while. The door opens, causing the rest of the class to look up. The principal. Class, this is our new student, Allison Argent. Please do your best to make her feel welcome. Scott barely breathes as Allison heads for the one empty desk left in the room, right behind him. She puts her notebook down, then glances up to see Scott turned her. Holding on a pen with a relieved but curious smile, she takes it from him. Thanks, Allison said. Allison gives her a nod, turning around. His gaze focuses on Styles' desk where his friend's sunglasses sit. In the mirror lenses, Scott can see Allison reflected behind him, and he can't take his eyes off of her. Mr. Curtis. Okay, let's begin with Kefka. Cut to Beacon Hills School Cafeteria. Silence. Then the doors of the cafeteria push open. As Scott steps in, a cacophone of high school lunch period slams into him. Every sound assaults him with a pinpoint drop clarity. Styles, you're alright? Overwhelmed, Scott doesn't even hear Styles. Hands come over his ears to cover them when he sees Allison across the room paying for her food. The cashier breaks a roll of quarters, but the quarters spill to the floor. Scott hears each one plank against the tile. Allison immediately helps the embarrassed cashier, giving a good-hearted smile to the grateful woman while the other students just stand waiting impatiently. Then Allison notices Scott and their eyes connect. Somehow, just this look from hers is able to return his hearing back to normal. She starts to smile back, recognizing him, but then Lydia Sears swoops in front of her. Lydia, that jacket is absolutely killer. Where'd you get it? Allison, my mom was a buyer from a boutique. Was a buyer for a boutique back in San Francisco. Lydia, you're sitting with me. Taking Allison by the arm, she guides her to a popular table. Jackson, Lydia's boyfriend, pulls her towards in his lap, but brushes him off, still talking to Allison. A few tables away, Scott sits with Styles and their friend Rebecca Howell, better known as Harley. Harley, can somebody tell me how New Girl is here all of 5 minutes and she's already at Lydia's table? Styles, because she's hot. Beautiful people herd together. Harley, is that why Lydia isn't herding with you? Styles, Lydia's a long-term project, okay? And trust me, I've got all my patience in the world for a high-yield investment like her. Harley, well, I don't think New Girl's that pretty. Scott, you think she's pretty, Scott? He doesn't even blink, attention consumed by Allison. Styles, I take that as a yes. Head cocked slightly, Scott tunes in the conversation across the room, voices coming into focus. Allison, a party. Senior, Friday, we could go together. Allison, I can't, it's family night this Friday, but thanks for asking. Senior, you're sure? Everyone's going after the scrimmage game. Allison, you mean like football? Jackson, football is a joke and Beacon. The sport here is lacrosse. We won the state champion for the last 3 years. Lydia, because of a certain team captain. Jackson, every season starts with a scrimmage to decide on the new first string. You ever watch lacrosse? Allison, I'm actually not sure how it's played other than, well, violently. Styles notices Scott watching Lydia's table intently, not merely staring, but seemingly listen. Jackson, maybe you should just come and see for yourself. We have practice today. You don't have to be anywhere right after school, do you? Allison, well, no. Lydia, perfect, you're coming. Lacrosse field. A whistle blows. The lacrosse team assistant coach gathers the team in the field. Styles and Scott lagging behind. Styles, just think about this. If you play, I'll have no one to talk to on the bench. You're actually going to do that. You're actually going to do that to your best friend Scott. I can't sit out again. My whole life is sitting on the sidelines. This season, I'm going to make first string. Heading to the fields, he pauses and notices Lydia climbing the bleachers and stepping right behind her. Allison. Coach. McCall, you're in the goal. Scott trots over to the coach, a man with little comprehension in the difficulties of teenage life. But I never played goal, Scott said. Coach, I know. Scoring some shots will give the boys a confidence boost. It's the first day back thing. Get them energized, jazzed up. Scott, what about me? Coach, try not to take it in the face. Stepping into the net, Scott glances at the bleachers where Allison watches with Lydia, eyes focusing on them. Lydia, him. I'm not sure who he is, but why? I'm not who he is, why? Allison, he's in my English class. Scott looks up shocked to hear Allison asking about him, but with the hearing momentarily turned up, he flinches at the whistle blow. Sound ringing through his skull. One of the bigger players charges forward as the assistant coach passes the ball to him. Catching it, he whips his stick forward, hurling the ball toward the goal. Still reeling from the whistle, Scott looks up too late to see the ball soaring towards him. It bounces right off his helmet and into the net. The team laughs wickedly. Even the coach snickers. Cheeks burning under his mask, Scott steers himself from the next player. When the whistle blows again, he's ready. The assistant coach passes the ball to the player who catches it and fires it right at the goal. Scott moving startling fast, almost an instantaneously reaction. Then he noticed a player staring at him with a mixture of disappointment and surprise. Scott has the ball. He caught it. When the next player takes a shot, Scott catches the ball again, and then again and again. Nothing can get past him. In the bleachers, Allison and Lydia sit forward. Allison, he seems like he's pretty good. Lydia, very good. Intrigued, Lydia keeps his gaze locked on Scott, who now stands with a far more confident posture, until Jackson pushes the head of the line, glaring at Scott. He practically struggles with the lacrosse stick in his gloves. Scott, oh God. The assistant coach tosses the ball. Jackson lunges forward, catching the ball, and spins around to fire it at the goal, but Scott moves with supernatural precision. The ball lands right in the pocket of the goalie stick. Styles lets out a holler, jumping up on the bench in the bleachers. Lydia stands up and gives a whoop, as well as causing Jackson to throw a look at her. She returns his glare with a sly smile and warning to step up his game. Grinning, Scott gives the goalie stick a whirl and spinning it with a flick of the wrist and sending the ball soaring right into the pocket of the stunned assistant coach stick. Beacon Hills Woods. In the woods, Scott retraces his steps from last night with Styles following behind him. I don't know what it was. I felt like I had it all the time in the world of the catch the ball, and that's not the only weird thing. I can hear things I shouldn't be able to hear, and I can smell things. Styles, smell things? Like what? Scott, like the mint mental gum in your pocket. Styles, I don't have any. Styles pulls out the lint-covered piece of wrapped gum. Styles, all this started with the bite? Scott, what if it's an infection? What if my body is flooding with adrenaline before I fall into shock? I knew I should have gone to the ER. Styles, I've actually heard of this. It's a specific kind of infection. Scott, are you serious? Styles, all the symptoms add up. I think it's called lycanthropy. Styles, what is that? Is it bad? It sounds bad. Styles, it is, but only once a month. Scott, once a month? Styles, on the night of the full moon. Styles looks at him and then gets it. Scott, you're an ass. Styles, hey, you're the one who heard a werewolf howling. Scott, there could be something seriously wrong with me. Styles, I know, you're a werewolf. Okay, obviously, I'm kidding. But if you see me in a shop class melting down all the silver I can find, it's because Friday is a full moon. Scott, I swear that this was it. The body was here. The deer was running. The deer came running, and I dropped my inhaler. Scott, maybe the killer moved the body. Scott, if he did, I hope he left my inhaler. Those things are like $80. Styles taps him on the arm, bringing his attention to a figure standing there just a few yards away. Derek Hale, 19 and unquestionably handsome. He has a rougher look than the cleanly shaved Beacon Hill boys. Derek, what are you doing here? Both Styles and Scott are too stunned to speak at first. Derek, this is private property. Styles, sorry, we didn't know. Derek glares at Scott, Blair noticing Styles. Scott, we were just looking for something. Forget it. Sorry to bother you. As they're turning to go, Derek tosses an object to Scott, his inhaler. When he looks up, Derek is already walking away. Scott, come on, I have to get back to work. Styles, dude, that was Derek Hale. You remember, right? He's only a few years older than us. Scott, remember what? Scott, Styles, his family, they all burned in death in the fire like 10 years ago. I remember the cops pulling him out of class to tell him. Scott, I wonder what he's doing back. Scott eyes his inhaler in his hand, closing his fist around it. Fade out. End of act.